He was crying today. I saw him wiping tears from his face in court. He said, "I hate myself right now," before the judge and before this sentence came down.
He'll be a lot better off in prison than he is in the federal jail. You know, at least there you can move around and you got some freedom on the yard and things like that.
Combs, in his own words, saying he realizes he's in a situation where no amount of money or fame can save him.
What I want to do with my freedom is, make sure that I can make change.
Almost 2 years after federal raids on his mansions and an investigation that exposed the darker side of Hollywood, Sean "Diddy" Combs has officially been sentenced to 4 years in prison. His legal team has already announced plans to appeal the decision, and some reports suggest that Diddy might even seek a presidential pardon from Donald Trump.
Sean "Diddy" Combs will be sentenced to 50 months in prison. That is 50 months in prison. Far less than the 11 years requested, far more than the 14 months. He will not walk out of the door behind me in the courtroom today. He will not be a free man for 50 months. The judge says, which is a little shy of 4.25 years. This is a serious sentence that reflects the gravity of your crimes and conducts. He also says this is a hard time away from your family, but also notes that Combs will have a life after prison, after 50 months. This is demonstrating to the court the gravity of the crimes and the conduct, Casey. Here you have it, 50 months for the 2 charges, transportation for the purpose of prostitution, the Mann Act violations. They tried very hard as the defense today, Casey, to suggest that would be a high sentence given the fact that the defense says, he did not financially benefit and profit from these so-called prostitution acts. The judge rejecting it almost out of hand, sentencing the music mogul, convicted in July by a jury of his peers, to 50 months in prison.
Back in July, Diddy was convicted on 2 counts related to unlawful transportation but was found not guilty on the more serious charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking. His defense team had hoped that beating the major charges would lead to a lighter sentence, or even a quick release within weeks. In fact, Diddy was reportedly so confident he'd be walking free that he had already scheduled public speaking engagements for the following week.
Tonight, prosecutors asking a judge to sentence Sean "Diddy" Combs to more than 11 years in federal prison, arguing he engaged in violence and put others in fear. A stark contrast to Combs' legal team, who are seeking 14 months, which would see him walk free in a matter of weeks, as he's already served 13 months in prison.
Look for the judge to land somewhere in the middle, split the difference, a sentence of maybe 4 to 6 years.
Combs was convicted on prostitution charges over the summer, but acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering, which carried up to a life sentence in prison. A source familiar with Combs' strategy telling NBC News that the mogul plans to address the court himself during his sentencing hearing. Both sides have submitted letters to the judge, one written by Cassie Ventura, Combs' former girlfriend, who was a key prosecution witness, writing in part, "I am so scared that if he walks free, his first actions will be swift retribution towards me and others who spoke up." Combs' 85-year-old mother writing that her son has made some terrible mistakes in his life, which I know he recognizes.
Before his sentencing, Diddy called on his entire family to speak on his behalf, hoping to gain sympathy from the court. He even recorded a video showing tender moments of him playing with his children, believing that if the judge saw a softer, family-oriented side of him, it might result in a lighter sentence. During the hearing, his children and even his mother pleaded with the judge for leniency, asking that he be allowed to return home. According to reports, TMZ obtained exclusive access to the emotional video Diddy presented in court.
Chaotic scenes as Diddy's family came to court to support him at his sentencing.
How you feeling today, Mama?
His mother, Janice, was followed by his son, Quincy, and 3 daughters who entered court hand in hand. Another son and his girlfriend were also there to show their support.
What you've given to the world, I don't think you know, man.
When my baby cries.
You gotta give her a bottle then. Know that you mean something to people. Know that you mean something to people, like you live somewhere in people's heart.
My nose fell off! No, then my lip fell off!
Thank you. You wear it? This country in this world we live in may have planned for y'all, I didn't listen to that, and I don't want y'all to listen to it either. And I'm happy to say this is our third school we have opened. It's official. When we come together as a people, nothing can stop us. But what I want to do with my freedom is, make sure that I can make change.
You will change the world.
I've been to hell,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna make it.
you gonna make it, that's right. And I got something for you. Remember I told you I had a present for you?
Yeah. Ain't that pretty?
This is a heart, because you my heart.
Oh,
All right?
okay.
You my heart.
Diddy personally pleaded with the judge for mercy, insisting that he had changed during his time behind bars and truly regretted his past actions. For the first time since the trial began, he took the stand and spoke, joined by 15 fellow inmates, several family members, and even one of his victims. Alongside his testimony, Diddy also submitted a written letter to the judge, expressing remorse and asking to be released.
On the eve of his sentencing, Sean Diddy Combs, the fallen music mogul, writing a federal judge pleading for mercy. He writes in part, "I have to admit, my downfall was rooted in my selfishness." He apologized to two of the women who accused him of abuse, including Cassie Ventura, who he assaulted. This as prosecutors are asking for an 11-year prison sentence for Combs after he was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Laura Jarrett joins us now live in studio. Laura, you have the letter right there, and he makes it very clear he's asking the judge to be let go to his family right now.
Tom, it's a pretty striking letter. Combs, in his own words, saying he realizes he's in a situation where no amount of money or fame can save him. He writes this: "I have been humbled and broken to my core. Jail is designed to break you. There have been some days I thought I would be better off dead." He goes on to say, Tom, that he lost everything from his businesses to time with his children. He's a single father. He also apologizes, notably, to the women who prosecutors say he abused. He says that video, that infamous video of him abusing Cassie, plays over in his head daily. "I literally lost my mind." He says he's a changed man. He says he's sober for the first time in 25 years. He will have an opportunity to address the court there tomorrow. Remember, of course, his lawyers are asking for just 14 months. Prosecutors asking for far greater, 11 years behind bars. He was acquitted of the charges, though, of course, that could have kept him behind bars for the rest of his lifetime.
Did Diddy ever really apologize to Cassie or any of his other victims? He claimed to feel ashamed and promised never to repeat his actions, but neither the judge nor the victims believed him. In fact, Cassie even wrote a letter to the judge, saying she feared for her life if Diddy was set free. And judging by his reaction in court, it was clear to everyone that he hadn't truly changed. Reports even suggested that Diddy was involved in inappropriate parties on the very day he was arrested.
Prosecutors are asking for a substantial sentence of just over 11 years, writing it's needed because Combs is unrepentant, that he largely conceded his conduct, the violence, domestic abuse, drug use, and distribution, and bribery. Former girlfriend Cassie Ventura, who testified at trial, submitted a victim impact letter that reads in part, quote, "My worries that Sean Combs or his associates will come after me and my family is my reality." She says they moved, and she is, quote, "keeping as private and quiet as I possibly can because I am so scared that if he walks free, his first actions will be swift retribution towards me and others who spoke up about his abuse trial." We spoke with attorney Rich Schoenstein, who is not involved in the case. Combs has no prior criminal history, and the U.S. Probation Department recommends a sentence range of 5 to 7 years.
I think that's probably the right range. I don't think he's going to get a short sentence like the defense wants, and I also don't think he's going to get the maximum. So I think that middle ground is where most people expect us to go, but we will see. It's up to the judge.
50 Cent also wrote a letter to the judge, saying that Diddy had personally threatened him. He made it clear that he didn't believe Diddy had changed in any way and warned that letting him go free could put others in danger.
Dear Judge, I have had an ongoing dispute with Puffy for over 20 years. He is very dangerous. Multiple times I have feared for my life. I think you should consider the safety of the general public, Your Honor, before unleashing him upon them. There hasn't been enough time for him to reform or make any adjustments, despite his trying to teach class in there. As you are already aware, the government has spent the maximum amount of money on deploying federal agencies, which appear to be an army in 2 locations simultaneously. Later, his son, who's dealing with his own allegations, claimed that the feds had hit the wrong house. Anyway, Diddy's only going to return to hiring more sex workers and keeping most of the baby oil away from the general public. And the babies need it. My Netflix doc on this scandalous subject is coming soon. In the caption of his post, 50 Cent wrote, "This is my letter to the judge on Diddy's case. What? I'm scared for my life." Now, while 50 Cent shared this petty letter for the entertainment of his fans and followers in the streets of social media, there are some people who did indeed write real letters to the judge. Cassie penned a powerful and emotional letter basically telling the judge that she is still having nightmares from what she endured during her relationship with
Sean Diddy Combs has been sentenced to more than 4 years in prison. Over the summer, the music mogul had been found guilty on prostitution-related charges. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman was in the courtroom today in Manhattan and joins us now. Katrina, thanks for being with us here tonight. Going into today, there was the potential Combs could have even been out within weeks. So how did he react when he heard that sentence?
You know, Nancy, what was notable was how little reaction there was. He looked down at his hands. They were clasped in his lap, and he just looked defeated. The same with his family. It was very quiet in that courtroom, very solemn, and it was a drastic difference from earlier because this day stretched on for a really long time. Many people spoke in court, his attorneys, and most notably his children. That was extremely emotional. They were crying. They were talking about how much they respect their father and how hard it has been for them to not have him around, especially his children who lost their mother, Kim Porter. His lawyer, Nicole Westmoreland, also broke down crying when she talked about Sean Combs. She said that he had changed her life. And then Sean Combs himself got up and spoke in court. And he said that what's been really hard for him during this trial is having to be silent, not being able to speak on his own behalf. He said that his actions were disgusting, they were shameful, and they were sick. He said that he's not a larger-than-life person. He is a human being, and that he got lost in the excess, in the ego. His voice was shaking. He was crying today. I saw him wiping tears from his face in court. And he ultimately said that he is humbled and he's broken. He said, "I hate myself right now," before the judge and before this sentence came down.
Even Diddy's lawyers were stunned by the sentence. They came to court expecting he might be released on parole, but instead, they watched their client face the harshest outcome possible. After the hearing, Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, told reporters that this isn't the end of the fight. He said they plan to challenge the verdict and will do everything they can to get the entire case thrown out.
Out of New York City, we are hearing Diddy's attorneys speaking to the media after he was sentenced earlier today. This is live.
Yeah, we are planning to appeal.
Man, I want to hear them, bro.
We are planning to appeal. We think we have strong bases to appeal. The strongest basis is that the jury reached a verdict on coercion. It found there was not coercion, and I think the judge said coercion today as a basis for a sentence at least a dozen times. We think that is unconstitutional. Yeah. We think that a jury verdict should mean more than our jury's verdict seems to mean, and so we are planning to appeal.
Mr. Agnifilo, if the prosecution files a cross appeal, what would happen in that regard if they filed a cross appeal and then Sean Diddy Combs get a higher sentence?
He would not get a higher sentence, and they're not gonna cross appeal. We're gonna appeal. We think we're right, and they'll respond to the appeal, and it'll be decided by the Second Circuit as soon as.
Tell us about the conversation you had with your client after the sentencing.
Consensual. The judge clearly thought the sexual encounters weren't consensual.
Because he's
What did you
biased.
make of his remarks?
He's biased.
If anyone, I'm happy to go. So we think that's just absolutely inconsistent with the jury's verdict. I mean, the jury's verdict was resoundingly clear. There was no sex trafficking. There was no racketeering. Everything was consensual. Everything was adult, which is why he was convicted only of the prostitution offense. What we feel happened today was that the judge acted as a 13th juror,
Yes,
one
he
that we
did.
did not choose, and that he second-guessed the jury's verdict.
Well, at least the judge was open-minded. At least the judge was open-minded for both sides.
It's possible that Diddy's emotional video actually made things worse for him. Right after the clip was shown, he admitted that he had been under the influence of drugs for years and that this was the first time in 25 years he'd been sober. That also suggests he was likely still using when the video was filmed, something that didn't help convince anyone that he'd truly changed.
How unprecedented was it showing that video, especially the way it was put together, made him look like this great father, philanthropist, and this guy who was doing so much for the community.
How old are you?
2.
How old are you? 2. You got a 2. That's 2.
I started out just like you guys. I come from New York. I grew up in Harlem. Clap it up on the sideline. Get our energy right. Come on.
For the defense, I think they would say it's a balance, and it was well produced. There's no doubt about that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's such a well-produced video. Does that hurt him that it looks like he went out and hired a production company to make that video?
You would think that there was a lot of thought and intent that went into making a video like that, but it was well produced. It had the highlight reel of his life, even despite his submission in his letter saying this is the first time that he's been sober for over 25 years. Kevin, I couldn't help but wonder which moments in the video was he maybe not using drugs, or at some point, based on his own letter, his own admission that most of this time when his children were younger, he showed video of him in the marathon I used to run, and I don't know how one could even do something like that without being off of the drugs, and maybe at that time he was.